Hey, you little pissant. Why don't you answer the phone, Cody, huh? Are you scared because Chris Jericho read your little piece in the New York Post where he called me a dick? You have no idea how much of a dick I can really be, you understand me? Don't you ever forget, Cody, that you are not my boss and you do not talk to me that way. If it wasn't for me, you wouldn't be in AEW. There would be no AEW. I'm the one who got you that vice president position. I'm the one who put you on the map. I'm the one who is feeding every single family on this roster, including yours. I'm the one who's putting dog treats in Pharaoh's mouth. And I'll tell you something else. You keep that dog away from me. I don't like dogs, and I don't like you. You need to apologize to me. And the next time you call me a dick, you piece of shit, I'll slap your face.
Hey, ¿qué tal, amigos? Les habla Bandido y no olviden escuchar este podcast por Tiger Driver Radio.
And welcome to another week of Tiger Driver Radio. For all things New Japan, Ring of Honor, and the best of the indies, this is your boy, JP, alongside
Juicy J, and I am one. Didn't work. What the heck happened?
The button did not work. Damn it, boy.
Well, this is Juicy J. Hey guys, how's it going?
What's going on? What's going on, man? How's your week been?
It's been awesome, man. One exciting week of wrestling.
Dude, all I gotta say is, man, this New Japan Cup has been just phenomenal. Wow. One thing I really love about this tournament is that it's been a combination of seeing guys perform in a level that they haven't performed in a while, and also seeing guys step up their game and be like, whoa, maybe some of these guys deserve a bit more of a proper singles push. And, we'll definitely get into that, man. But all I gotta say is I have been very impressed, and I'm even more excited about the possibilities of what's gonna happen at MSG. So, I mean, it's looking awesome.
You're gonna have fun there, man.
Oh, dude, I'm stoked. I'm a little bummed out that I can't make that Friday, the day before. They're going to have a Festival of Honor where they're going to meet, where you can have meet and greets with the New Japan stars and the Ring of Honor stars. Mm-hmm. I unfortunately can't make that because I have prior, obligations to visit some other people.
Yeah.
But no, dude, this tournament has really shown me. Dare I say, you finally see Yoshihashi step up. Now we'll see how far he goes. I know that's kind of a weekly theme of why I hate Yoshihashi, but I don't know.
Man, he's proving you wrong.
He's kind of he's proving me wrong a little bit. So I don't know, man. You want to get into it?
Yeah. Speaking of Yoshihashi, that's the first match.
Yeah, there you go. Let's get into it, guys. Alrighty, now we're going to basically be covering the second round of matches, and this first match, like I said, is going to be Yoshihashi against Chase Owens. Now this is a lot more back and forth. Of course, Chase Owens doing a lot of heel tactics, and Yoshihashi, in fact, taking a lot of abuse. But he was able to hit karma at 14 minutes, 10 seconds, and he advances. He advances to the quarterfinals, which did we predict that he was going to be pushing forward?
No, we said Owens was.
We said Owens. Okay, so we were wrong on that one.
Yeah.
All right. So we were wrong on that one. So, Owens, however, we will discuss it later on. Chase Owens, as we predicted, will be in line for something else, but we'll get to that a little bit later. Mm-hmm. Up next, which I will say this right now, this next match in the second round is my favorite match of the tournament. Scratch Kota Ibushi against Naito in the first round. This is my favorite match of the tournament. Tomohiro Ishii against Taichi. 22 minutes and 55 seconds of just brutal action. I mean, Taichi was hitting kicks super stiff. Tomohiro Ishii was hitting a lot of his moves. They were pretty much like taking each other's best shots and kicking out the whole match.
Even Taichi, it surprised me that he had an open for him to use the Iron Claw.
And he didn't.
He did. He just threw it to the side and he said, well, let's just have at it. Let's keep fighting.
Like, I want to beat you.
Yeah.
Like, I want to beat you the legitimate way, which was really shocking. And even though, unfortunately, Taichi did, of course, come up short.
Yeah.
We predicted that Taichi was going to advance in this one, right?
Right.
And he did not. So he did not. Tomohiro Ishii with a vertical style brainbuster advances. But the one thing I loved about this match and that really got me was that you saw Taichi really turn up the aggression. And I mean, he was hitting those kicks. He was pretty much like finding ways to like concentrate on Tomohiro Ishii's arm so that way he wouldn't be able to hit a clothesline or be able to use the vertical suplex as effectively as he usually does.
Yeah.
But this match, I couldn't help but to think this felt like watching like Kawada versus Kobashi back in the mid 1990s.
Wow.
You know, I mean, a lot of people say that there's a lot of comparisons of Taichi pretty much paying tribute to Toshiaki Kawada with the way that he kicks, his moves. He even uses the stretch plum, which is one of Kawada's favorite submission finishers back in All Japan back in those days. And it's blatantly obvious. Like, I think Taichi is kind of like mocking, Kawada. I know that in the press he's gone around and saying that he wants Kawada to come out of retirement to face him, which Kawada won't. He says, there's no way in hell I'm coming out of retirement. Like, he's too old. Like, it's his years are behind him. If you do yourselves a favor, if you guys ever get a chance, definitely go back into YouTube or order some DVDs or whatever and go watch any matches with Toshiaki Kawada. You'll definitely see the comparisons with how Taichi wrestles and how Kawada used to wrestle. But this match, I cannot say it enough. Hard-hitting, brutal, and the crowd. And the thing is, I was so shocked that this happened in the Gymnasium show because this match could have easily have thrived, at Korakuen Hall or even a Tokyo Dome show. Like, this was that good.
It certainly was. Surprised though that Taichi didn't move forward in advance, because after everything that has been going on with him, it's strange.
Exactly. I was shocked. And the thing is, it's not to say that they don't have any long-term plans for him. I think you'd be stupid to not do something long-term with him, because I feel like he's been on this since early last year. He's been on this gradual upswing where people just were like, God, he's useless, he sucks. And then you see that, no, he's a legitimate wrestler. He's an amazing heel. He can play up to it. I mean, he did win the Never Openweight for a little while. And I mean, he unfortunately wasn't able to defend it for very long. But I think Taichi is in both of these guys, for that matter, are definitely guys you need to push for another title, especially Taichi.
For sure. We got another version of Taichi that we didn't know before, so that was cool.
Exactly. Like, it just comes to show you that there's a lot of guys in this tournament that are stepping up their game. It's just, I love that. I love seeing that, and as people are stepping up their game, competition brings out the best in people. So that's one thing I love about this tournament, is that you're seeing that. And on that note, the next night on the 14th for the next round of matches, at the Nara Centennial Hall, that night featured Will Ospreay against Lance Archer, and
that was an amazing match as well.
That was also a surprising match. Like, one thing, I'll be honest, I'm a little biased. I'm not a fan of big guys. I like faster paced matches. I like technical matches. Dare I say, I even like, street fights and ultra violent matches.
Yeah.
But when I see two big guys in the ring that are just a little slower, and it's just a lot of more power hits and power moves,
doesn't do too much for you.
It doesn't do too much for me. But Lance Archer, the chemistry that Lance Archer and Will Ospreay had was of course a big man versus a smaller man. But man, Lance Archer was just abusing Ospreay, throughout so many parts of this match. And I love seeing how Ospreay was basically fighting from the bottom up. And it definitely showed that Lance Archer is a lot more than just a tag team wrestler. And I would like to see him, go up against, for a single title. I mean, like I said, there's so many guys that are so talented that, you need people in the tag division to round it out. Sure. I mean, everybody has their part in a show, but this match definitely showed another side to Lance Archer, and that how he could be such a top heel if he wanted.
Man, his strikes were so hard, and Ospreay's chest was bleeding from the chops.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
He did cut his chest open. You're absolutely right.
Yeah, even that derailer that Archer does, that thing's crazy.
Which one?
The one that they just bounce in the ropes, and then Archer just comes up and then pushes him out of the way, just kind of hits him and then he flies off.
Oh yeah. Basically, it's basically like a football block.
Yeah.
That's such an amazing move. I mean, it's such a simple move, but it's so devastating. Where he comes off of the side, off of the ropes, that's perpendicular,
right,
to the other guy, and then when they mid ring, he'll just tackle him.
Yeah,
he
just flies off. Like, goodbye.
Exactly, which is amazing. This match, like I said, was back and forth, and after Lance Archer went to the top rope, after Will Ospreay put him on the top rope, he was able to put him in the Stormbreaker. Like, it was a modified Stormbreaker. He put him on the top buckle, got his arms folded, put him over his back, and then hit the Stormbreaker clean and pinned Lance Archer at 18 minutes and 8 seconds.
Man, I thought he wasn't going to be able to do it.
Yeah, I mean, granted, people say, oh, well, he didn't actually lift him, but I was like, but that's still a lot of weight to carry from the top buckle, and then to carry him on your shoulder like that and then spin him around.
Yeah, because the first time he tried it, he didn't work. So doing this on the turnbuckle was smart of Ospreay.
Absolutely. And it was just like, wow, just brutal, just super brutal. And, from there, we go on to the next match. Like I said, awesome things from everybody. It definitely will. This match definitely makes Will Ospreay, a further contender for heavyweight titles. So it's awesome. And then this next and final match of this night was Kazuchika Okada against new stablemate and Mad Mikey Nichols. Now, this match was definitely kind of a showcase to see who, in fact, is Mikey Nichols. And if you're going to showcase a new talent, what better way to kind of showcase somebody's skill than by wrestling one of the best in the world? Yeah.
Although, in my opinion, in the beginning, Nichols seemed a little nervous because he was doing a lot of headlocks. It was just headlock after headlock.
Yeah.
But at the end, he slowly progressed and showed what he does.
Absolutely. I mean, he definitely countered a couple of Rainmakers.
Yeah.
And he was definitely trying to hit, the Mikey Bomb, and also was trying to hit some heavy clotheslines of his own.
Yeah.
And Okada definitely seemed very comfortable in this match. Like I said, I feel like the old Okada is slowly making his way back out. And, he definitely dictated the pace of this match. It was a lot of back and forth. Mikey Nichols definitely gave his best shot. Unfortunately, he did not make it. Okada hit him with a Rainmaker. In fact, I love that modified Rainmaker that he does, where if he misses, he'll spin around again and then hit it.
Yeah, that's I like that one. I mean, in this one, he had to do 2 Rainmakers to beat him. But that second one is the one you just said that he did the spin and then finally knocked him down and got the win.
Absolutely. And that concluded that night. I mean, like I said, you're going to see a lot of people bring out the best in themselves. And then the next night featured on Saturday, March 16th at Korakuen Hall, one of my favorite venues in the entire world. It featured the match with Hiroshi Tanahashi against Ryusuke Taguchi. Now, the thing that I really liked about this match is that leading up to this match, Taguchi kept constantly attacking Tanahashi's bad leg. Because, it is kind of obvious that Tanahashi has a bit of a bum leg and he's working through it. But even in tag matches leading up to it, Taguchi would constantly be attacking, kind of be the aggressor in Tanahashi. And I think they wanted to kind of show, like, hey, maybe Taguchi he's not playing around. Like, he wants to beat Tanahashi in this match. In this match, however, he did concentrate a lot on Tanahashi's leg.
He did.
And like I said, the one thing, I think even you and I both knew that no matter how hard Taguchi was going to fight, there was no way in hell he's going to beat Tanahashi.
For sure. But did you notice also that Tanahashi was a heel in this match? Like, people were actually booing him and cheering for Taguchi.
Yeah, the one thing, I'm glad you brought that up, because the one thing I really admire or kind of think that's cool about Japanese audiences is that people tend to cheer for people that are fighting from under.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And if somebody's getting beaten up, they start kind of, even if it depends, if it's 2 faces against each other, 2 very popular wrestlers that are well liked, whoever's losing, they tend to cheer for that guy in Japanese crowds. Where in American crowds, they're like, oh, okay, they're going to cheer for the guy who's winning because, he's winning. Or if that's, the desired effect based on how people play off their chemistry to a crowd. But Tanahashi, you're right. He was playing a heel, kind of bullying him a little bit.
Yeah, using some heel tactics on the turnbuckle in the corner.
Yeah, exactly. Which I would love to see more of a heel Tanahashi. You see hints of it here and there. So I would love to see that. And the thing is, Tanahashi also didn't use the high fly flow. He didn't use a twist and shout to finish him off. He hit him with an old school dragon suplex on Taguchi for the pinfall. And it was a solid effort, but I didn't really foresee Taguchi going past the second round. And of course he did not.
Right.
And then this next match, shocker. Huge shocker. I did not think it was going to play out this way. And it was Kota Ibushi against Zack Sabre Jr. And the thing is, I loved how they played off the fact that Zack Sabre Jr. was concentrating on that wonky little ankle of Kota Ibushi. Like Kota Ibushi got hit in the ankle, and then from there he just kept slowly wearing him down, and then eventually he hit orienteering with Napalm Death, that octopus stretch on the ground that he does on people with the legs spread open, and eventually Ibushi had to tap out. I was shocked they did that. Super shocked, because I know Zack Sabre Jr. right now, he won last year's New Japan Cup, and currently in New Japan Cup history he is undefeated in New Japan Cup. But I thought with Ibushi kind of coming off of his injury and the possibility of him facing Ospreay that he would go forward, and we predicted that Ibushi would be going forward, but he did not.
Yeah, we thought he was going to go all the way to the end, but man, Zack Sabre got the win and pretty much broke our whole bracket that we had set up for us.
Yeah, exactly, and that's the thing that really disappointed me. I was really sad. I was like, okay, Ibushi's gonna come close, but he's gonna break through, and he didn't. And when he did, and you could tell the crowd was shocked.
Yeah, because Zack Sabre Jr. kept getting all his submissions in. Ibushi couldn't avoid it. He was trying to at first, and
because they kept playing him concentrating off of that ankle, so that completely destroyed our brackets.
Well, even the neck a little bit from the elbow he got from Ospreay that one time, but exactly. But they kept concentrating on just submitting him, and it worked.
It did. It absolutely did. And on that note, that broke my heart a little bit, and it definitely put a huge dent into our predictions.
Yeah.
So we have to kind of reevaluate that. We'll get to that in a second. And then finally the next night, and Sunday, March 17th, for this I think the last night of the second round. Featured pretty much one of our dream matches for the tournament.
This is my favorite so far.
Really? So okay,
as far as comedy.
As far as comedy,
yeah.
I enjoyed the hell out of it. The next match was Toru Yano against Colt Cabana, and my God, dude, the entire match, I'm just chuckling because it's so ridiculous what they do. And the funny thing is, I love how when Colt in the beginning of the match when they were trying to exchange headlocks and waist locks, how Colt Cabana discovered hidden tape inside of Yano's trunks, because Yano likes to like tie people's hands together. And then the referee's like, wait a minute, you have stuff hitting? And then he found another roll of tape. And then later on in the match, like, Colt Cabana stole the tape roller and basically taped one of the turnbuckles straps together so that way he couldn't undo the turnbuckle to try to expose the turnbuckle.
Yeah, so Yano couldn't use it, right? Use his turnbuckle spots he does.
Yeah, exactly. And the entire match is just comedy gold. Yeah. the whole crowd is just laughing the whole time.
Some Japanese kid, I kept hearing him laugh, and it made me pop, man, even more.
Oh, through the audio of the commentary?
Yeah.
Yeah. I did hear that. There was a little kid that was just laughing his ass off. And it was just brilliant. And then the thing that had me shocked, and that's the one thing I love about Colt Cabana's Superman pin, is that it is such a joke pin, and there's nothing climatic about it. It's nothing climatic about the execute. It's not like, you hit like a Michinoku driver. Yeah. You're like, oh, you hit the Michinoku driver, or you hit the high fly flow. It's like, oh, we hit the high fly flow. Like, people pop when somebody hits that move, right?
Yeah.
But the Superman is such an unremarkable move. You don't really pop for it because it's just a pin. More than likely, you're not gonna kick out of it. And then the fact that he pinned Yano to make it into the quarterfinals shocked the shit out of me. I was like, wait, what? Like, they let him use the Superman to pin him, which is brilliant because you didn't expect it. I thought, okay, he's gonna kick out and it is what it is and they're gonna continue. Nope. Yano got pinned.
And it worked. And did you see even Red Shoes was wanting to laugh the whole time?
Yeah, he was just like, God, these guys are stupid, And I love that spot where they finally both got turnbuckle pads. And they were arguing. They're like, no, you put it down. No, you put it down. You put it down. And then eventually they started throwing him to the referee. And the referee was like, no. And then he threw it back to Yano. And Cabana's like, what are you doing? You threw it back at him. And he's like, wait, I'm so sorry. And then he tried to hit Cabana with the turnbuckle. It was brilliant. It was absolutely brilliant. And, it goes back to our interview last week with Shotzi Blackheart, which, if you haven't listened to that episode, go check it out. You need to make a wrestling show entertaining. You need different styles. You need different kinds of people. And I know a lot of people think, comedy. Some people don't like the comedy on Japanese wrestling shows. They think, well, why would you put that on a wrestling show? Well, if you want comedy, go watch DDT or something like that. But I think it's great. I think it kind of provides a nice break to how serious all the other matches are.
Especially for the next one that we're going to talk about in a second. It was a good transition to have a little bit of comedy before it gets really crazy.
Yeah, because the thing about crowds is that you ever feel like sometimes when a match is so good and it's so intense and super serious that the next match, the crowd is a little dead for any match that follows something.
Yeah.
I mean, it can happen. It's like they already wasted their energy. So I totally agree with you that this match was a nice little like transition to something more serious, which if you didn't already understand this, Colt Cabana won by a Superman pin. And we lead into the final match of this evening and of this round, which was Sonata against Minoru Suzuki. And man, this was also a great match. A great match, and I could tell that they were definitely building Sonata even more.
Definitely, but Suzuki was dominant for most of the match, which was surprising. I thought Sonata was going to be kind of like not Suzuki, sorry. I thought it was going to be like Zack Sabre Jr. versus Ibushi, kind of a
one-sided
resemblance of that match.
Yeah, that's what I thought too, but it wasn't. Like Sonata found ways to kind of, I'm not going to say counter, because Sonata's not really a submission style wrestler, but he definitely found ways to, I guess, power through.
Yeah.
All these holds, like he would find ways to like escape, or not really escape, but find ways to reach the rope, or find ways to kind of
like skirmish
out of it, you know, and barely.
Yeah.
And then, you know, Suzuki was actually getting pushed a little bit because Sonata would find ways to use his size and his power and speed and kind of tire Suzuki out. Like towards the end of the match, it's one of the rare times where you see actually Suzuki seem tired, you know, and it was really surprising. But of course, there was I've never seen this before. Or I take it back. There was a sequence towards the end of the match where Suzuki was trying to hit, you know, trying to basically keep the sleeper hold on him. Yeah. And then Sonata would counter with the skull end. And then when Sonata had him on the skull end, then Suzuki kept trying to wrench on Sonata's ankle.
Leg. Yeah.
So like they were kind of for like good, I think I want to say like a good 5-6 minutes. Sonata was behind Suzuki trying to hit the skull, trying to get the skull end and pull on the skull end. Suzuki would escape for a little while, pull on the ankle, and it would they were going back and forth, like they had the submissions on at the same time, and then sometimes they would switch, and you would think, oh man, Suzuki's gonna fade, or oh man, Sonata's gonna tap. Like it's crazy to think that you could see some people get so excited over a submission exchange, and they weren't moving a lot. They were just, it was kind of like, you know, because people usually get excited for back and forth when there's back and forth kicks and counters, or back and forth like, oh, I missed his power bomb, he flipped out of it, you know, Hurricane Rana, he rolls out of it, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like a lot of movement, and people were super excited to see them kind of going back and forth with something so simple, which is one thing I love about Japanese audiences, that they do appreciate submission wrestling.
Yeah, even compared to a figure four, you know how they counter it with turning them around and they flip them back around, and this one was not even that. It was just like minor move change, and the crowd appreciated it, which you don't really see that with mainstream wrestling American audiences. Yeah, but I mean, it was cool. It was kind of like watching the UFC. Like when you watch the UFC, you see subtle movements, and if you're a true fan of that, you appreciate what you see going on. I mean, the casual fan just wants to see blood and broken noses and people just punching the shit out of each other, which is fine. I'm all about that. Yeah, but it was cool to see this like small nuances happening in the ring, and then eventually Minoru Suzuki got tired out. Sonata got up, let go of the skull end, and tried to hit the moonsault. And I mean, if I'm not mistaken, he initially didn't get it right, and then and then eventually, and then he hit it again. Right. Yeah, exactly. So then he hit it again, and you know he hit the Muda moonsault on Suzuki at 28 minutes and 45 seconds, and this was definitely, I think, a shining moment for Sonata. I mean, I think for right now, I don't think he, like I've said it for the past couple of weeks, he definitely needs a solo push. He definitely needs it, especially with Suzuki. I think a lot of people in their brackets had Suzuki getting the moving forward. But
yeah, what did we do? What did we pick? We said Sonata.
We had said Sonata.
We had said Sonata was going to ultimately go through, and we also said that Cabana was going through, right?
Sure.
Okay, so we got some of these things right. So but still, the fact that Ibushi had lost earlier in the evening really, or excuse me, the night before really fucked up our brackets. I'm like, God damn it! Like really, like they're not gonna. But you know, who knows?
Messed up.
They might have something in store for him later on. I mean, you never know. On that note, during these nights leading through the second round of the tournament, Chase Owens did basically attack Juice Robinson after a tag match. And apparently on the 24th, it's going to be set up for he's going to have a shot at the U.S. title.
That's awesome.
So this is before the MSG show, so we'll see how that transpires. And of course, you start to see the tournament take shape. And I don't know, I really hope that this tournament, with a lot of these surprises and a lot of these people performing, that it opens up opportunities and a different change of different matchups. Maybe we'll see guys who were in tag teams go solo for a little while. Maybe some other pairings will happen. I would like to see this kind of springboard some variety in the booking. So on that note,
Kichi Yamada against Viacom Express 1.
Vietcong Express, you're strong, but I'm very strong. Next time, kill you.
the second round has concluded, and this leads into the quarterfinals. Right now, you're going to see Yoshihashi against Tomohiro Ishii. Who do you think is going to go forward in that?
Man, I think Ishii.
I think... I don't know.
You go Yoshi?
I'm going to say Yoshi, not because I want to. Not because I want to, because I think that's what they're going to do.
You're going for Yoshi, man.
I think... Exactly. And it pains me to say that. But I think New Japan is going to go forward and try to push Yoshi to kind of help rebuild his face a little bit to cover the character. That's what I think.
Man, I had to save this clip of you saying that.
Yeah. So who are we going to put in the next bracket? Yoshi or Tomohiro Ishii?
I think let's do Yoshi.
I think, like I said, my heart says Tomohiro Ishii. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
But I have a feeling it's going to be Yoshi.
Yeah.
But okay, up next will be Ospreay against Okada.
I think Ospreay.
You think Ospreay?
Yeah.
See, this is now we're starting to kind of disagree. Yeah. I noticed we're starting to disagree with our booking philosophy here. Ospreay versus Okada. I have a feeling Okada's going to take it.
Yeah?
Yeah. I think they just wanted a nice, strong showing for Ospreay.
But you think just because it's Okada?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I think maybe they want somebody, a bigger name to headline MSG for the New Japan side of things. I'm going to say Okada. Do you agree or disagree?
Man, I'm going to have to heavily disagree on that.
You think it's going to be Ospreay?
Yeah.
All right.
We'll leave that one like that. See who gets it right.
Okay. All right. We'll gamble on that one.
Yeah.
All right. And the next round is Tanahashi against ZSJ, Zack Sabre Jr.
Zack Sabre.
I think Zack is gonna take it.
Yeah, especially after beating Ibushi.
Exactly. And then I think he's going to prey off of that leg, and it's going to be a repeat of last year. So that's what I think is going to happen. And then last, Cabana against Sonata. I think it'll be an awesome match because, like I said, I know that Cabana can wrestle. He absolutely can. And I think it's going to shock a lot of people that, oh, wow, he can still go. I mean, it's not just a comedy.
He can, but after seeing this last match with Yano, I think they're just going to use him for comedy angles, like, every time.
Yeah, but I think as compared to like the first two rounds, I think that this match might be a serious match. It might start off funny, and then eventually it's going to be serious. But I still think Sonata's going to take it.
Yeah, I agree on that.
Yeah, so I think Sonata is going to take it. So then, okay, let's go back to our disagreement. Ospreay against Okada. We got to pick somebody. We have to.
Yeah, it's Okada, man. Let's just do Okada.
You think Okada?
Yeah.
Okay. I want Ospreay to go. I would like to see him get a heavy push.
Yeah, but I mean, thinking about it again, I mean, it's Okada. You have to have him close to the end.
I think they want to rebuild him.
Yeah.
And then, okay, so then it'll be Yoshihashi against Okada, and Zack Sabre Jr. against Sonata. So Yoshihashi versus Okada.
Okada for sure.
Okada? Yeah. Okada. I think Hashi will come close. I think people are going to get shocked, and he'll perform really well, but Okada's going to take it. And then the next round will be Zack Sabre Jr. against Sonata.
Man, that's a little bit of a hard one. It's a little bit difficult. I'm going to say Sonata.
Think Sonata?
Yeah. Because I think Sonata was our second Ibushi in a way, quote unquote. So I think Sonata versus Okada sounds intriguing. No?
I disagree.
Thinking Zack Sabre?
I think Zack Sabre's going to go again.
Man, it would be cool to see him win again.
Yeah, whether that'll happen, I don't know. Because I mean, you're talking about a headlining slot.
Yeah.
For Madison Square Garden, which is a huge fucking deal.
Yeah.
Who knows if it'll ever happen again?
Man, do Zack Sabre, man.
Zack Sabre?
Yeah.
All right. Zack Sabre Jr. So then that leads to the finals. Okada against Zack Sabre Jr. Who's going to take it?
Man, now that we did it like this, I want Zack Sabre to win.
You want him to win a double?
Yeah, but and realistically, probably be Okada.
Okay, I think agree Okada, because I think for that MSG crowd, they want a New Japan figurehead to headline that show against who's currently a foreigner champion. That's what I think.
Yeah.
You know, so that's why that was also my philosophy on Ibushi, is that Ibushi is a Japanese wrestler, but he's also popular with the New Japan crowd, and that's what I thought was going to happen. But apparently, that's not going to happen. But that also leads for things to be open for maybe he might be put in another angle. I mean, there's still a little bit of time left before Madison Square Garden, which the card has been changed a little bit because of what happened at Ring of Honor's 17th anniversary.
Yeah, a lot of weird moves going on. Well, not weird, but just surprising.
Exactly.
As you just said, yeah.
So these are our picks from here on going out. Like I said, I think we're batting like 50% here. Like we'll get half of them right, and then half of them we're like way off. So I don't know. So we picked possibly Okada. Now we have to change our winner, and Okada's going to take it. So we'll see. And maybe this will be some retribution for him against Jay White and MSG. We'll see. Time will tell. But let's talk some Ring of Honor, man.
Let's go to some Ring of Honor, sir.
Cool.
ROH 17, man.
Yeah, man. It was a good one. It's a really good one.
It was so good that it was awesome.
You said it very robotic again. It was so good. It was awesome. No, man, like I said, this event definitely will have a lot of implications to the card at MSG. And let's get to it, man. Let's break this down, man. Let's get to this first match.
The first match of the night was Kenny King versus the villain, Marty Scurll, man.
You know, yeah, like the one thing I like about Kenny King, let me just say this, is that as his career has gone on, he is definitely somebody that likes to use mind games against people. Because at first, I think he kind of just rested on his reputation as I'm the guy from The Bachelor, and I'm good looking, and I can, he's a decent, he's a good worker in the ring. But I've noticed lately, he's trying to find ways to get into people's heads. He definitely likes to talk trash a lot more. And I like this. I think it's definitely going to help Kenny King set himself apart from his, reality TV show, persona.
Kenny King. That's him. Kenny King.
There you go.
Yeah, man. Well, this match started with when Kenny King came out. He came in with some strange guy. He was dressed up as the villain, Marty Scurll. And it seemed like maybe a random fan because he never said who it was, but he did a bad impression of Marty Scurll. So I think he's a loser. Definitely a loser, man. But no, the match started off with Marty Scurll kicking both the cosplayer and Kenny King on the outside of the ring, which was good because, I don't know why they did that cosplayer thing. It was a little strange.
I think it was just to kind of just to fuck with Marty Scurll. It was like I said, Kenny King has definitely been a lot more vocal in in recent days about just him being a heel.
Yeah.
And of course, at this point, there's no way that the villain Marty Scurll is going to be an actual pure heel anymore. People love the hell out of Marty Scurll.
Yeah.
So it was just a way to kind of, I guess, bring heat on Kenny King. And it didn't work, of course, because, of course, Kenny King did get pinned. But I think it's just Kenny King is definitely slowly building himself as a legitimate heel.
It worked for a little bit because King was the dominant force in the match until Marty was able to get a body slam from the top turnbuckle. And man, King was still, like I said, dominant force on this and even delivered a royal flush. But then Marty was smart enough to roll outside the ring. He rolled outside the ring, and then Kenny King said, "You know what? He's outside of the ring. I'm going to take advantage of this." He went outside, got a chair. When he went back inside the ring, the ref was like, man, you can't use this chair. That's when Marty took advantage and used the umbrella and hit him with it, which is the way he got the win.
Absolutely. And then, of course, this next match for the ROH World Television title match was Jeff Cobb against Shane Taylor. And they've been kind of building this up for a little while between these two, haven't they?
Yeah, and then it's, again, two brutes, kind of like Gato and Cobb in New Japan. It was just two big guys.
Oh, you mean
Goto?
Goto?
Yeah.
Yeah, Goto.
Yeah.
When you say Gato, and I'm like, Gato? Like, who? Like Goto. Sometimes, man, like I said, these Japanese names are hard to say.
Yeah, but just two big guys, man. But even though Shane Taylor's a little bit larger than Cobb, they're still evenly matched.
Yeah.
Cobb was still able to maybe get the upper hand at times. But Taylor even went for some high risk maneuvers from the apron into the outside of the ring, which was surprising, man, for a big guy like that.
No, absolutely. Like I said, I mean, the one thing that's really amazing about these guys is that for both of these guys being the sizes that they are, they are athletic as hell, deceivingly. Because back in the 80s and the 90s, when you saw a big guy like that, you didn't see anybody hitting moonsaults or hitting high flying moves. At best, you might see Vader hit a moonsault, but that was so rare to see a guy that size move, and these guys are just killing it.
Yeah, man, killing it so much that when they went back of the ring, they were just hitting each other as hard as they could, just some really stiff shots. But Cobb even was able to put Taylor in the turnbuckle in the corner, and he was able to pick him up and throw him to the middle of the ring, which I thought was awesome to pick up a big guy like that. But I mean, Taylor was able to kick out, and Taylor even connected with a crazy clothesline followed by a Cleveland Destroyer. That's when I thought, oh man, is this gonna happen right now that Cobb's gonna lose after all this time? But good thing he was able to kick out, which is good.
Absolutely. And it's like I said, I think it's really important to keep Cobb with that title.
Yeah.
For right now, I think he definitely needs a legitimate threat to him to take off that title. And I mean, we'll see what the future holds. But I mean, Shane Taylor definitely did put up a good fight.
It was a good fight, but Cobb had to use 2 Tour of the Islands to beat this guy. So,
which that says a lot, considering that usually when he hits it, that's it, you're done.
Yeah, he had to use 2 of them. Another great match was maybe not so great. It was Klein and Mayu.
Kelly Klein against Mayu Iwatani.
Yeah,
absolutely. I'll be honest with you, I have been very unimpressed with Kelly Klein as champion,
right?
And then as a threat to Mayu Iwatani, because like I said, Mayu Iwatani is an amazing worker, and I know Kelly Klein utilized a lot of heel tactics in this match.
Yeah, in the beginning, she was just hitting her as hard as she could. It seemed like he was gonna break her at times. Like even did a slam to the back, and like her neck kind of twisted. Yeah, that was really crazy. And for a short period of time, I thought Klein was gonna be really strong beast that she started off at, but no, she lost again.
She lost, exactly, and
with the schoolboy,
exactly. And like I said, I mean, nothing against Kelly Klein. I just feel like I've never been really that impressed with her as a champion or a threat to regain the championship. So, but that'll be interesting because Mayu Iwatani now could very well go into Madison Square Garden. To face against, any number of challengers. Personally, I'd love to see her against maybe one of the Twisted Sisters in Madison Square Garden. Maybe her against Thunder Rosa, which would be amazing.
Yeah.
Phenomenal. Or, maybe somebody else from the Stardom promotion. Well, I mean, time will tell.
Yeah, let's see, man. See what happens. Especially of time. I don't know, I thought it was weird timing of Taven did this, of going inside or going into the middle of the ring in the very middle of the pay-per-view of the show and asking for the match against Lethal. That was a weird move to me.
Wait, so he
went into the
into the ring right as the previous match ended?
Yeah, right after Klein and Mayu, they did a little promo, they were trying video footage of something else, and then after that happened, Taven went in the ring and said, "You know what? Stop everything right here. I want the match to happen right now against Lethal. Bring Lethal out here. It's time. Let's get this show on the road."
Wow. So I mean, that is a little bit crazy. I think it was just like maybe kind of like a very abrupt transition. But I mean, with this match was a very strong showcasing for why Jay Lethal is world champion and why he's as good as he is and why Matt Taven is a credible threat. And they went to a 60-minute draw.
Yeah, it was a long time. You couldn't see the actual, because usually in matches, you could see a dominant force, an alpha, and then a beta. Yeah. Like, hey, you could see who's going to win maybe, or see who the underdog is. But no, these guys were evenly matched. I mean, Taven wanted it so much. He wanted that win. But it made sense that since it was going to go 60 minutes, that's why they did this. So, because they didn't want to leave that towards the end, maybe.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I mean, ended up in the draw, which was was a little disappointing for me for that long and just ended up in the draw.
Yeah, like I said, the last time I saw a match like this where it ended up in a draw, and other draws may or may not have happened in Ring of Honor. I mean, if anybody else is out there, please correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Was when you saw Samoa Joe against CM Punk back in the 2000s where they had their draw. And that went to 60 minutes as well. And there's been other matches, I believe, that went to 60 minutes. And it's always disappointing because you want finality.
Yeah.
You want that finality. It's almost kind of like what happened with Omega Omega and Okada number 2, how you thought, okay, Okada hit the Rainmaker and he's so close to pinning him and then he doesn't. And then this one was the same thing. Like, these guys just tired each other out so badly that that was it. Like, there was no definitive victor. And overall, what would you, if you had to do it, we'll borrow Uncle Dave's scale here. If you had to borrow his scale and rank this match between a 1 and a 5 star, what would it be?
1 and a 5, I would give it a 4.
A 4, so a very strong 4. Cool. All right, very cool. And I completely agree. I think it leaves, even though despite how long this match was, it definitely leaves room for maybe to build off of it. So like I said, it shows that Matt Taven has grown. I don't know if you agree with that.
Yeah, definitely agree 100%. That guy, I mean, this match showed how much range he has and able to have a match with Lethal. Because if you remember the match a couple shows ago that Lethal had against TK Orion, they shouldn't have put that match with Lethal. Because Lethal is too good for him. And then Taven is right there with him.
Yeah, exactly. It's like you could definitely tell the experience factor is there.
Yeah.
Versus somebody like TK Orion that it wasn't quite there for him. But no less, awesome match. And I'm excited to see what this will mean for Madison Square Garden. That means Jay Lethal, as of now, is still going into Madison Square Garden as champion.
As champion, but against Taven, and looks like against somebody else. And we'll talk about that later, but we'll see what happens.
Exactly. And then this next match, Rush against Bandito, which I know was one of the most anticipated matches of the night. Like I said, when Ring of Honor announced that they signed Bandito, people were like, oh man, you're in for a treat. And a lot of people have been and I think I'm starting to see a lot of people kind of come back to Ring of Honor because Bandito is such an amazing performer. And then you have a guy like Rush, who is pure rudo. Just pure rudo. Even though people love him, he wrestles like a rudo. He wrestles like a heel. He doesn't give a shit. I mean, he pretty much is like, in my opinion, Rush is the equivalent of a more aggressive Tetsuya Naito. He has that same charisma, but he's just a mean son of a bitch.
He's mean, and then he also has that fast style like Bandito as well.
Yeah, the thing is, like, Rush likes to brawl, but he can also high fly and wrestle fast if he wants to, which is what I love that combination, because maybe sometimes he doesn't want to go toe-to-toe with Bandito in terms of high flying and speed. He's like, you know what? I don't have to do that. I'm just going to beat your ass the old way and just, like, pummel you, punch the shit out of you, stomp you, just do it the old-fashioned way. And I love that juxtaposition between a guy like Rush and Bandito, where Bandito is very much a high flyer and an athlete.
Yeah, but it was weird. I thought Bandito was going to win, man.
You really did?
Yeah, because I think we talked about this in other shows that we thought Bandito was going to be the main guy Ring of Honor uses and it's going to be pushing, but Rush won, man. And
who's to say that Bandito won't be pushed later on? Because, I mean, he does have the MSG to look forward to for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight title, which is going to be exciting, which will also feature, Dragon Lee. But I think, like I said, this is kind of like, this may have very well have been, even though Rush has been in the company for a little while. I think this was a definitely definitive win for Rush to push him forward to see who he will challenge later on down the road, which, in fact, at the end, Dalton Castle did come out and challenge him.
Sure did.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and he even was doing commentary throughout the match. It was pretty funny.
Really? I mean, Dalton Castle is such an amazing guy.
Yeah.
I think it'll be a definite, a really entertaining match to see him against Rush in Madison Square Garden.
I would like to see that. Rush is a cool guy. I like the guy.
Like I said, I love the fact that Rush is the kind of guy that he can wrestle technical, he can do the lucha libre thing, but you can tell that he really finds a lot of his comfort in just brawling.
Just being a mean guy.
Just being a mean guy and just beating your ass the old-fashioned way. And I love that. I love that he can do both if he wants.
Hopefully he doesn't hurt Castle.
Yeah, exactly, man. I mean, doesn't destroy his back.
Yeah.
And then lastly, the ROH World Tag Team title in a Las Vegas street fight, which we both expected this was going to happen. We called it months ago. We said this tag team match can't just be a regular tag team match, which featured Villain Enterprises, PCO, and Brody King against the Briscoe brothers. What did you think of this match?
Yeah, this match got crazy real quick. As soon as the bell rang, both of them went for the chairs and started throwing chairs in the ring. It just was share shots galore after that. But the Briscoes, man, they're like the best in the chairs. Just hitting PCO and Brody with the chairs and just beat PCO in the middle of the ring and Brody.
Absolutely. And the thing is, like, there was a lot of like violence in this match. Like, you don't see this kind of level of violence happen as often in wrestling promotions. I mean, let's not talk about, the ultra violent promotions like Combat Zone or Big Japan Pro Wrestling, or let's leave those out of the question, because at the end of the day, that's what they do, or Game Changer for that matter. But in most wrestling promotions, like bigger wrestling promotions, you don't see this kind of level of violence happen as often. So like the fact that they had this kind of match where it was just, violent. Like there was even a point where I think Mark Briscoe grabbed a part of the kendo stick that was broken and tried to stab PCO in the throat with it.
Yeah, stabbed PCO in the throat with it, and both of them were busted open. PCO and Jay Briscoe was, and it was just crazy, man.
Exactly. And the thing is, this is like the one spot that really always makes me cringe because it's so scary to me is when like Brody King had put Jay Briscoe through a table with a pile driver off the apron. That's something that I remember Rhino back in ECW used to do, and that used to scare the shit out of me because you always hear about guys who take pile drivers and they take it the wrong way. They get paralyzed. Everybody can of course remember what happened to Stone Cold Steve Austin against Owen Hart in the mid 90s, or other wrestlers that hit their head a little too hard and they get a stinger. I always get scared of seeing crazy pile driver spots. So when I saw that kind of spot where Brody King lifted him up and just jumped off of the apron into a pile driver through the table, it's just It even because also Brody kind of slipped a little bit with his right foot and then kind of landed awkwardly. So it wasn't a perfect vertical pile driver. It was a little bit slanted, which would have made it even more scary. Yeah, exactly, because that's an awkward way to land. And oh my lord, it's just oof, like stuff like that. But I mean, at the end of the match, what really shocked me was that spot where PCO placed a chair on top of Jay Briscoe and then hit him with the moonsault with it, which is such an old school ECW spot. Like there's still, I'm not gonna lie, I have such a soft spot for seeing this kind of violence where you pair it. Like it's one thing for when you're in a wrestling match, or you see like a violent wrestling match and you see guys who just hit each other with weed whackers. Yeah. I feel like, okay, that's just blood for blood. That's just blood for the sake of having blood. But you could tell that this is like a competitive tag team match where they use big spots, definitely beat the shit out of each other, and then they incorporate violence with it. I feel like it means more. You know what I mean? It isn't just, I'm going to just stab you in the head and cut you open just to get blood. Like, no, like they were beating each other up, and you could tell this was like kind of like a personal rivalry. And I love seeing those kind of, like, basically the combination of using awesome moves with weapons.
Yeah, definitely elevated PCO and Brody. It showed Brody could be as crazy as PCO.
Absolutely. I mean, and seeing that moonsault with the chair for the 1, 2, 3 was such a perfect way to outdo the Briscoes. I mean, because the Briscoes are now 10-time Ring of Honor champions now?
Yeah, they're superstars.
So that I think this means that both PCO and Brody King are now going into Madison Square Garden to face against the Gorillas of Destiny. Am I correct?
That makes sense.
Yeah. Now, what I'm worried about now is that I personally wanted to see the Briscoes against GOD because we saw that kind of building up in Japan. Yeah. And now they're out of the picture. Now, who's to say that maybe down the road in these next couple of weeks, because it's not far off, that maybe it'll be a 3-way.
True.
Maybe. I mean, I'm hoping, because I personally wanted to see the Briscoes, who have been such a dominant tag team for a long time.
I mean, they're going crazy with 3-ways, so it makes sense that it could happen.
Exactly. But then you see PCO and Brody King, who went toe-to-toe with and arguably one of the best tag teams of all time. So we'll see, we'll see how things pan out. But overall, it was a violent and fun match to watch, I think.
Yeah, it's craziness, and Briscoes are crazy guys, man.
Crazy guys, man. Like I said, they are 10-time tag team champions for a reason. And like I said, this definitely changes what could happen in MSG. So we'll have to wait and see.
I'm a new fan of the Briscoes after this match. I didn't like him that much before, but
really,
definitely now.
That's sacrilegious of you to say as a Ring of Honor fan, because when you think of Ring of Honor, you think of the foundation of Ring of Honor, how they've been around for 17 years. The Briscoes are one of the few guys on that roster that have been there since day one.
Like Ring of Honor originals?
Exactly. Because when people think of Ring of Honor, they think of Austin Aries, CM Punk, Samoa Joe, the Briscoe brothers, they think the Young Bucks. And they have consistently stayed in this promotion since day one. I mean, they're just, you see why they're so good and why they've been so good for so long. And I think in light of how things have changed these past couple of years, people often overlook the Briscoe brothers. And I think this match,
Kind of like I did.
Yeah, like I said, you kind of overlooked him for a little while. But I don't blame you. Like I said, I think a lot of people got so enamored with the Bucks.
Yeah,
And everything else that I think sometimes some people may have forgotten or didn't realize how important the Briscoes were. And I think this match definitely showed you why the Briscoes are such a successful tag team.
Yeah, they're the aces of the tag division, or Ring of Honor, like Lethal is the ace of Ring of Honor.
Absolutely. With that being said, man, MSG is going to be an awesome card, and it's going to be really interesting how things pan out from here on out, man. But you want to let's get on to some different news, man. You wanted to talk about what's going on in the independents?
Yes, sir. Let's do it.
Alrighty, man, and we got a little bit of news, man, not too much. To kind of caveat off of the 17th anniversary show, in the television tapings following this, after they had this 60-minute amazing match, apparently Marty Scurll came out and challenged for a Ring of Honor World title shot. Now, the thing is, he has the right to cash in on a shot because he did win Survival of the Fittest last year. But then, of course, Matt Taven came out and said, like, no, I'm still really the real world champion. So they were going back and forth in the ring, arguing. And then I know Jay Lethal said, like, well, why don't we have a three-way? And they were like, no, I deserve a single shot. And then Matt Taven was also like, I deserve, a single title shot, not some three-way. And then Lethal said, well, years ago in Madison Square Garden, a certain match became famous because it was in Madison Square Garden. And the latter match initially got famous in MSG in the first place. So he challenged both of them to a ladder match. And then they finally agreed, which leads to the fact that now the world title will be contested in a ladder match.
Oh, yeah.
Which ladder matches are always fun, so we'll see how this pans out in Madison Square Garden. All I got to say is these guys have some big shoes to fill.
Yeah.
To have a ladder match in Madison Square Garden. Because, I mean, if you think about it, I mean, I believe Shawn Michaels and Razor Ramon have their ladder match in Madison Square Garden. I remember in Madison Square Garden, it was the Hardy Boys against the Dudley Boys in a tables match. And even though that wasn't a ladder match, there was plenty of spots where they were using, higher surfaces to kill each other. So Madison Square Garden, like I said, it's a legendary arena, and they have their work definitely cut out for them if they're going to really wow that crowd.
True. But with the match Taven and Lethal just had, they could do it.
And then he's, of course, throwing Marty Scurll into the mix.
Yeah.
Which, like I said, he earned his title shot.
Yeah.
He finally called it. So that'll be awesome. And then another little bit interesting tidbit news, man, with TJP from 205 Live being released. Looks like he'll be wrestling. Now he has his initial date scheduled. Now that he is beyond his no-compete clause, he'll be making an appearance at Prestige Wrestling on May 24th and Blue Collar Wrestling on May 25th. So looks like TJP will starting to make the independent rounds again. So that'll be really interesting. I'd love to see him square up in the best of the Super Juniors if that's a possibility. He has in the past. He has wrestled in the New Japan roster. In fact, I think he still holds the statistic of being the youngest wrestler to wrestle in the Tokyo Dome.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
that's cool.
He was super young. I think he was only like 19, 20 maybe.
Mm-hmm.
I could be wrong. If anybody knows, correct me, but I think he does hold that record, that the youngest guy to wrestle.
That's really cool.
In the Tokyo Dome. But on some really weird news, not weird, but just interesting news. For anybody that's going to be over at WrestleCon in New York City, I'll be there, and I'm definitely going to try to do this. Legends of the Arena is holding a raffle. You can either buy a $10 raffle ticket or $25 for 3 raffle tickets for the chance to have dinner with the Scream Queen Daphne. For those of you who don't know, remember Daphne. She was famous in WCW as David Flair's screaming ex-girlfriend, and also for her time in Impact Wrestling as the Goth Scream Queen, and the Queen of Extreme herself, Francine. If anybody doesn't remember Francine, you should. She was the valet of the franchise Shane Douglas and one of the cornerstones of one of the characters in ECW. Like me, dude, you know me. I was a huge ECW fan. So the fact that I can have dinner with Francine, my perverted 13-year-old self is salivating out the opportunity. And then, of course, you have Daphne, Goth Scream Queen. Loved her back in Impact Wrestling in the early days. So, yeah, for those of you that are interested, you can send your money to Legends of the Arena at yahoo.com, and you can pick your chance to have dinner with them on a Thursday or Friday night for 1 to 2 hours. However, you must pay for your own dinner. So you broke asses better bring money to pay for yourself and leave a tip. I don't think you have to pay for Daphne and Francine. Me personally, I think it's a classy move. I would do it, but they probably are covered. They're good. I mean, like the one thing about wrestling fans, man. Wrestling fans, we're some broke asses. We're spending too much money on buying gear, merch, going to shows, and of course, eating terrible junk food. So yeah. So if anybody's interested out there, there's your chance to dine with two lovely women who paved the way for other women in the wrestling business. It should be really interesting, be fun. I think it'd be cool. I don't know. What's up, Francine? Call me. I know you're way older now. I don't care. But anyway, man. But I mean, this is a little bit of interesting tidbit news. Another interesting tidbit news that ever since Arn Anderson was released, he does in fact now have a pro wrestling tees store. And in fact, after all the years that he's been wrestling, this is apparently his first t-shirt ever. Can you believe that?
What? That's weird.
Yeah, I mean, he's had the Horseman t-shirts, but he's never had an individual shirt for himself to sell. So apparently he never had his own merch. He had Horseman merch. I mean, he was a Horseman for sure, but
That's surprising.
Yeah, he never had his own individual Arn Anderson t-shirt. Now you can go on Pro Wrestling Tees and buy an Arn Anderson shirt. In fact, I think it's the top seller of this past week, which is awesome. Like I said, Arn Anderson, if you don't know who Arn Anderson is, number one, you're not a real wrestling fan. And then two, the reason why the Spine Buster is such a well-known move, well, Arn Anderson innovated, the Spine Buster. So, like I said, awesome, legendary wrestler. I'm also interested to see if you'll have any sort of capacity in AEW.
I think so.
And on that note, some interesting tidbits about AEW happened this weekend, man. You care to elaborate what happened in Mexico this weekend?
Yes, sir. In the Rey de Reyes show, the Young Bucks got the tag team titles from Penta and Phoenix, man.
Yeah, exactly. And the thing is, that tag team match was originally against who? It was Penta and Phoenix defending. Am I correct?
Mm-hmm.
And who were they defending against originally?
Yeah, it was a match against Rey Scorpion and Tejano Jr.
Both. For those of you who don't know, Tejano Jr. famous for his time in Lucha Underground.
Oh yeah, so they had that match and they won the match, Penta and Phoenix. But Conan came out. He said there was two guys that wanted to face him, and bam, you got the setup for the Bucks against Penta and Phoenix right away.
Yeah, exactly. And I know the lights went out and then they appeared.
Yeah.
And how was the crowd reaction to that?
It was weird. Nobody really knew them. They're like, oh, well, all right, who are these guys?
Well, that's funny because, I know that the Young Bucks have wrestled in Mexico many times, but I feel like that audience really wasn't.
Yeah, I mean, it was. They have fought in Mexico, but I think in Tijuana is where they're a lot more known other than other places. Yeah,
for the Crash. Yeah.
Yeah, because in Tijuana, you even had long lines of people running to get signatures from them or to meet them, to get the meet and greets. But in this show, nobody really knew him. There wasn't really a big pop. It was just all right. It was some two guys.
Yeah, cool. and it was an awesome tag match from what I heard.
Yeah.
So it was an awesome tag match. And the thing is, this definitely sets up to maybe they'll have a rematch now at Double or Nothing. And I think this is kind of smart to kind of get some hype, because even though this was in front of a Mexican crowd, a lot of the people that are watching Double or Nothing are going to get excited because oh, whoa, they took these tag belts off of, Pentagon and Rey Fenix, and that sets up for that adds more depth to the story of it being a little bit more personal when they finally do wrestle on American soil in Las Vegas.
Yeah, it made it really interesting for everybody that was watching at home. Probably not for the people there in the crowd. Maybe it was the wrong crowd to do that, right? But everyone at home. I mean, I popped when I saw that. I was like, that is so cool.
Absolutely.
They're doing that, especially AAA is doing so well now, and definitely beating CMLL. That I don't think they're doing that. I mean, they are the second biggest promotion in Mexico, but definitely a great move by AAA, getting together with AEW and of course everybody else.
And of course, Cody made an appearance at Rey de Reyes this past weekend and made some pretty big announcements.
He sure did. The first thing he said that he was going to have AEW stars appear in Mexico as well, like Kenny Omega, yeah.
And Jericho as well. That's awesome. And then he also announced that there will be a Spanish correspondence team to do commentary for Double or Nothing as well as for future AEW events.
Yeah, he asked Hugo I can't pronounce his last name. It's really hard to pronounce. Hugo Lovnavich. He was also a WWE Spanish commentator. He asked him to be part of the Spanish commentary for AEW.
Absolutely, which is really exciting. And, my bias depending is that I feel like this relationship is going to benefit AEW more than AAA on the simple fact that I think AAA fans are devoted to AAA wrestlers. Mm-hmm. And a lot of them are maybe not too familiar with any outsiders other than WWE, which is, I think Jericho has a big name value as well. So I think this will definitely kind of help AEW grow their international influence as time goes on, which I'm super excited about. I mean, it'll be really interesting to see Omega wrestle in Mexico in the future.
Definitely, man. You want to see all those guys everywhere, especially with build a whole big, crazy wrestling world in China and Mexico and Japan, all those places.
Absolutely, man. And like I said, the future seems bright, man, and there's a lot of great wrestling out there. Go out there and enjoy it, man. You got anything else, dude?
I don't got anything else, man.
All right, man. Ladies and gentlemen, that'll be it for this week. Tune in next week as we continue our discussion of the New Japan Cup, and I believe we'll lead into the finals. Am I correct?
It sure be the quarterfinals and the semifinals.
Cool, man. All right, man. Until then, enjoy pro wrestling.
Enjoy juiciness.
Ew. Peace, everybody.